Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm going to be showing you how to make a 5-panel bag. I know some people had some complaints about my last video because it wasn't a tutorial. It wasn't much of anything. I just showed you what I was doing and that was it. I didn't even really show you. I just kind of just made the bag and then just uploaded the video. So I'm really sorry about that. Some people had left some comments. I just didn't think anybody would care, and because nobody cared about my other videos, but that's the video that got the most views, so I'm kind of just, compensating for that and then making this video. So I hope this one will kind of help a little bit better and show you what I do, like, in depth. And if by the end you still have questions, just leave a comment below and I'll try to get to them when I can. So let's get started. Okay, so the dimensions of the bag are going to be 15 beads across, and they're like the beads that are higher up than the others, and then 18 beads down. And you're going to do 2 of those, one for the front and then one for the back. And then the bottom piece is 15 beads across again, and then 10 beads down. And you're just going to do one piece. And then your side panels, it's going to be 7 beads across, and it's going to be 18 beads down. And then we're going to need 2 of those. So the materials I use are, you're going to need scissors, you're going to need beading cord, or you could use fishing wire. I used the fishing wire. It was just, I felt like it was stronger and it lasted a lot longer in terms of like materials. And then you're going to need a lot of pony beads. And these are beads that kind of look like saddles, like. So I think I used over 3,000, but I'm not sure. I didn't count. So you're gonna need a lot more than what you think. Even then, I think I did a little over 3,000. So here I'm just, I have the string in a U, and then I have the ends where I place 2 beads on each end, and then I do 1 bead through both ends, and then another 2 each end, and then 1 bead for both ends. And you kind of just repeat the pattern of 2 plus 1 plus 2 plus 1, and then until you get like your desired length of what you want. So when you're making your first initial like strand of beads, make sure you pull on them tightly as you go along. So for every like 4 or 5 you put down, just kind of tug on them a little bit so they're snug. So you have like a really tight and stiff bag. So once you put everything together, your bag, stands up and it supports itself, because there's no wiggle room in between the string and the beads for it to kind of like sag. And again, you just kind of like repeat the process until like you like the length that you want. You don't have to follow the length that I used, but I'm counting the length by every top bead. You see how like there are beads that are kind of like above the other one? That's how, I measure my panels. So it's 15 of the beads that stick up. So when you get to the end, you're going to pull both strings tight as you possibly can. Make sure it's stiff, there's no wiggle room, And then to follow the pattern, I get another pink bead and I loop it through the string, and then you're gonna go from one end and then I loop it through the next bead, which is the orange. I know it's kind of like funny looking at first, but just continue the pattern and then it'll start straightening itself out as you go. So I grab a yellow bead and then I loop it through the green bead. So you're just getting every other color. And then when you start the next row, you're gonna do every other color of the next row. So for this bag, you know, I wanted like a stripe pattern like I did for the last one. And it's a lot of repetition of the same thing over and over again. So it's easy. It's just, I think the hardest part is just getting started. And then not knowing how to do the next row, which is, again, easy. And then after that point, it's just like you're doing the same process over and over and over again. So as you move along, make sure for every bead you place on your panel, you tug hard enough to make it snug so there's no wiggle room. And then if you run out of string, you can just tie another string to it. So I was running out of string, so I grabbed another about 5 or 6 feet worth of string and I attached it to the end of my last string, so just so I can continue the panel. Make sure you tie it really tight and then make sure it's snug. So make sure you do a few pulls to make sure it doesn't come loose. Because I've had a bag where I didn't tie it tight, and then when I was pulling the string to make sure the beads don't have any wiggle room, the bag came apart. I had to start all over again and then see where I made this, where I messed up and made a mistake. So just do yourself a favor and make sure you tie your strings tight. So as you're finishing up your panel, make sure that both sides of your panel are even. Both are 18. And make sure that when you finish your panel, you tie your string really tight. So again, I did the front and then I'm doing the back panel. Again, it's just the same process. You're just repeating and attaching beads to the string, then looping it through, just threading the beads through. Just make sure everything's even and everything's snug. Okay, so next we're gonna make the side panels. It's gonna be 7 across and 18 beads high. And it's not gonna exactly match up to the bottom part of the panel, but once you put everything together and you tie it tight enough, you won't even see like the gaps. It's just when I put 7 beads across, it kind of lined up with the 10 beads of the bottom side of the bottom panel, if that makes sense. So I'm going to grab a bead and then I'm going to probably loop the string through the bottom piece a couple of times and then go back up to the side panel and loop and thread the cord through the purple bead, and then kind of start this process again, where I then, once it's through the purple bead, I'm gonna loop and string the cord through the bottom piece, grab another bead, and then wrap the cord again around the bottom piece, and then bring it back up, and then go through the orange bead, and then back down, anchor it again to the bottom piece, grab another bead, and then anchor it to the side piece, just that process. Probably sounds confusing, but I'm sure once you're doing it in person, it might be a little bit better. But I just wanted to make it secure, make sure both pieces are secure together and that it looks okay. Some of the beads might kind of wiggle or not be straight, and that's okay. When you make these bags, they're not going to be 100% perfect. I've been doing them for a while. I still have trouble on a daily basis. So the side piece is not going to be perfect. It's not going to match up perfectly to your bottom piece. You could try it, like, you could do the best that you can, you know, don't worry about it. But I started going through threading the cord through both the side and the bottom piece again. Once I got to the end, I just redid everything just to make it extra secure. And then you do that to both sides. And then when you attach your front panel, it's going to be easier because your bottom piece and your front panel are going to lock together. And if they don't, flip it and see if they match up. And if they don't lock, then make sure that both sides of your panel are 18 across, that they match up. And if they don't, you're going to have to add another line of beads, because they should actually like interlock together. This adding your bottom piece and your one of your backs or your front panels should be like the easiest thing to do in this bag. So you're going to grab about maybe like 6 feet of cord, and you're just going to thread the bottom and the front panels together. So it should be easy, you know. You're going to grab both ends and then attach one end to the bottom piece and then one end to the front piece. And then meet in the middle like you would when you're first making your initial strand of beads. And then again, you're gonna pull them apart, tighten it, and then you're gonna go one strand through the bottom and then one strand through the front. Meet in the middle and then kind of like, you know, just weave in and out. So once you have your front and your back piece attached to your bottom panel, we're gonna then, so this is the, I wouldn't say difficult, but it's the trickier portion of the bag, where you're gonna attach the side panel to the bottom. You're gonna attach the side panel to the front and the back panels. So you're gonna need some beads. So you're gonna loop one bead onto, I think, maybe about 6 or 7 feet of cord, and then you're gonna take either end of that cord once you have the bead onto the string, and then you're gonna go one end through the side panel and then one end through your front panel, and then you're going to get another bead and get either end of that string and weave it through that one bead and like make like an X, pull tight, and then again like you're tying, you know, like you're attaching shoelaces to a shoe. Then you're gonna get the other end and attach it to the side and then attach it to the front, grab another bead, exit, you know, thread through this bead, both ends through this one bead, pull tight, and then again one end of the string through the side panel and then one end of the string through the front panel, grab another bead, and then you're going to thread that through, and you're just going to repeat that process. Make sure you pull tight so it stays stiff and it stands up. So once you're done attaching all four sides, you're just gonna look at everything, make sure everything's even, it looks good, you know, or it's standing up by itself. That's the whole point. We want it to stand up by itself and look like a real bag. So I didn't have enough beads to make like a lid like I did with my last bag. I ran short, you know. That's one thing you want to do. You want to make sure you have enough. I ran out, and then when I went back to Walmart, they didn't have any more of the beads that I was using. So I just ended up using what I had, and I made like a strap that would go over the bag, just to kind of like keep it closed and keep it, you know. So when you're making a lid or adding a strap to your bag, you're just gonna make sure you start in the middle, attach your string, and then you're just gonna pretty much start like how you would a panel. You're gonna weave the cord in and out, thread it through, and then you're gonna start attaching your beads, and just follow the pattern. You know, if there's a blue bead there, you add a blue bead, loop it through the next color. If there's a yellow bead that needs to go there, then you add a yellow bead, and then so on and so forth. And then you kind of just do this until you know, you're satisfied with like the length of either your lid or your strap on your bag. Next, we're gonna make the straps of the bag. So I wanted to make like little daisies and then have like the middle be a different color. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna need 2 white beads, 1 colored bead, 2 white beads, another 2 white beads, a colored bead, and then 2 white beads, and then another set of 2 white. So then you're gonna grab again another like 6 to 7 feet worth of cord. So one white bead per end of the string. Then add the color bead to both strings, and then you're gonna add your 4 white on separate strings again, 2 for each string. And then you're gonna add the color, and then the 4 white beads again on either end of the string, 2 per string, and then you're going to pull that tightly and just repeat this process. So the length I chose for the straps is 31 daisies. So you're going to just count 31 of the colored middle bead. And then when you get to the end, you're going to cross the string into each other. So the top string's going to go through the bottom bead, and then the bottom bead string's going to go through the top bead. and you're just gonna like cross them through and then pull tight. So now that the string that was on top is going to be a loop through the bottom, and then the string that was on bottom is going to be thread through the top. And then from there you're going to add a white bead, and that's going to be the top petals, the top and bottom petals. And then you're going to go all, and then you're going to thread the string through both white beads, and then just kind of like repeat the process of when you're making your panels. So once I got to the end of the bottom set, I just looped the string that was on the bottom and threaded through the top, and then just did the repeated. So then when like both strings kind of meet in the middle, you're going to add your last bead and then tie a knot, pull tight, make sure your strap is stiff, and then you're done. So next we're going to attach the straps to the bag. I'm counted 4 beads down, threaded the cord through the 4th bead on the bag, then started attaching the strap to the bag. So I'm threading the cord through the strap. I would pull both ends tightly and then anchor the strap back down to the bag by attaching it to one of the beads below. I would then thread both strings to the bag, pull that tightly, and then bring the strings back up and then thread through the flower of the strap again. And once I threaded through enough of the beads, pull tight, and then I would anchor the strap back down to the bag, thread it through one of the beads, and then pull tight, and then bring the cord back up through the strap. And I kind of just repeated this process until I felt like the strap was pretty secure to the bag, and that I was comfortable that it wouldn't move, it was strong, and that, I liked it. So then I kind of just made some daisy like little decorations to add to the bag, and I attached the little flowers the same way I attached the straps. I threaded it through the flower and then anchored it onto the bag, and then brought the string back up, threaded it through the flower, and then anchored it back onto the bag just so they were secure and they didn't move. So here's what the finished bag looks like. I added some flowers to the strap of the bag, and then I even sewed and made a liner for inside. If you still have questions, just leave a comment below and I'll try to answer them as best I can. I hope this kind of helped a little bit better. I know it wasn't the exact style of bag as I did in the last video, but it was just purely because I ran out of beads. You know, I was just trying to compensate and kind of make something similar. So yeah, I think my next video is just gonna be another drawing video, and then after that I had ordered some supplies to make another bag. So I'm gonna be making this was a 5-panel bag. I'm gonna be making, my next bag's gonna be a 3-panel. So that one should be easier, it's less parts to attach. And yeah, I'll let you know when, or it might take like maybe a few weeks to get that video out. So, well, thank you so much for watching. I hope this helped. If it didn't, I'm so sorry. I really did try my best. But hopefully the next video will be even better. And then, you know, this was my first like real tutorial. So I hope maybe the next one will maybe help you a little bit more. I get a little bit better as I get more experience. But thank you so much.